Hi guys, it's Amber from Amber Eats Books, and I'm here today to bring you my weekly reads video. This is the video where I discuss what I read last week, what I'm currently reading, and what I hope to read. Actually, I think this one is going to discuss what I read during the last 2 weeks because I did not get a chance to film last week. I was just so busy, and I will show you that reason why in just a second. Let me go grab something. So this is the reason why I couldn't film last week. We ended up getting a new puppy. This is Minnie. Minnie is a golden retriever and she is 11 weeks old. So she is just so little. So all of my spare time that I had has been taken up by this cute little bundle. I have to potty train her and make sure she's not chewing on things all day long. So I just was a little overwhelmed last Monday and I just could not film, but I'm hoping that I'll be back to my regularly scheduled filming from now on. So having a puppy has been a big life change, but one that was so welcome. Anyway, I have quite a few books to get to, so let's get into it. The first book I want to mention is one that I was unsure of last time I had filmed, and that was Perks of Being a Wallflower. I actually ended up DNFing this audiobook. It just was not the right audiobook for me at the right time. I didn't feel like there was anything wrong with it or anything that I wasn't enjoying particularly. It was just that I had listened to so many audiobooks that were similar to it at the time that it just wasn't doing anything special for me. So I just wanted to give myself a break, and I will revisit it at a later time. So now I'm going to talk about the books that I actually finished this week. The first of that being The Ask and the Answer by Patrick Ness. I gave this book 2 stars. It was my lowest ranked book of the past couple of weeks. I just did not enjoy it that much. This is book 2 in the Chaos Walking trilogy. I had enjoyed book 1. I had really liked the characters. I'd liked the premise of the story. I found that really interesting. I even thought the plot moved along at a brisk pace. However, I just did not feel like this book did any of those things. The characters were whiny in this book. They kind of thought the same thoughts over and over again. And this is stream of consciousness writing, so things that were repeated over and over and over. It's just kind of like beating a dead horse. I think in my Goodreads review, I even wrote that this was like a dog chasing its own tail. I felt like the plot just kept going in circles through this whole book. I had thought at first maybe it was because I was just preoccupied with getting the new puppy and I just was not able to concentrate. But when I actually sat down and had time to read, I think this was Saturday morning, I just finished it and I was like, why did I bother finishing it? I have no desire to pick up book 3. I'm probably going to request it from another library for my daughter because she really wants to finish the series, but I don't think I will be reading it. I will probably just ask her what happened. So yeah, it was kind of disappointing. I'm not writing off Patrick Ness though as an author because I loved A Monster Calls. So if you guys have any other Patrick Ness recommendations, could you leave them down below because I would love to check out something else by him because I know that there are other books that people have loved and I would really like to give him another chance. The first line in this book is, "Your noise reveals you, Todd Hewitt." The next book that I'd like to talk about is an audiobook that I was able to complete, and that was Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. I gave this book 4 stars. It was very good. He was obviously born a crime. So he was born during apartheid, and he was born to a black mother and a white father. So his just being born was a crime at the time. It was very fascinating to me to learn all of the different political things about South Africa that he had to talk about. Basically, you know, not only was there black, there was white, there was colored, there was so many different variations, and he did not seem to fit into any of them. So I could feel his loneliness and isolation, and I just felt for him so much. But he was so great about telling these stories because he also brought in some humor to lighten them up because these are some very, heavy topics that he discusses, but he was able to break it up with some funny stories, especially about his mother and some of the things that he got into. So I really found this book so enjoyable and so fascinating. I did not know that there were so many different languages spoken in South Africa, and he speaks quite a few of them, and he was able to speak them throughout the book. So not only would he give you the translation after he spoke it, but you could hear it in its natural form, which I just absolutely loved. So yeah, this book was great if you guys are definitely interested in an interesting but entertaining read, I would definitely give this book a try. I do not have the first line, of course, because it was an audiobook. The next book that I finished was The Blood Mare by Brent Weeks. This is book 4 in his Lightbringer series. I loved this book. I was so happy to be back in this world. I gave this book 4 stars. It was such a fun, wild ride. This being the 4th book, I cannot really give you a synopsis of it, but I will say that this is told from multiple points of view. You get all these different characters. I love some. Other ones in this book I was not as fond of, but I still enjoyed reading them because they did add to the story, just not my favorite viewpoints. I will also say that this book gives many, many revelations. There were so many. Every time I turned a page, I felt like I was learning something else. Some of them were quite shocking, and I was just amazed at how he wove this story together. So I really enjoyed it. If you guys are a fantasy fan, then you should definitely check out this series. The first line in this book was, sorry, they have a couple of things in here. Like a house slave sweeping dirt into a pile, Orholam had heaped together all the earth's horrors and sins. Now, the last book that I finished this week was Paper Butterflies by Lisa Heathfield. I didn't mean to finish this book. I picked it up to read up to the update point for this past weekend, and I just kind of put the book down. So I ended up finishing it. But I'm not going to give you guys any kind of a wrap up because I'm filming mine, which will be posted on Saturday, and I think Christine from Kizzy Reads has an update that she is posting this Wednesday. So if you guys are following along, check out her update, and I will just tell you I have a lot to talk about in my wrap up. So look forward to that on Saturday. Now on to what I'm currently reading, and that is Bird Box by Josh Malerman. This is a horror/thriller type read. I was just so in the mood for a faster paced type read that I had to pick this one up. I'm so glad that I did because I'm only 34 pages in and I'm hooked. So far, this story is about people around the world seeing something. They don't know what it is, but whenever anyone sees this thing, they end up going crazy and they will kill people that are near them. They end up killing themselves. No one knows what it is though. So now, in part of the story, people are living in houses with blankets across the windows. No one can look outside. When they do have to venture outside, everyone is wearing blindfolds. So good. So I cannot wait to see how this book finishes. I'm so excited. I'm going to definitely go read this after I'm done filming. So now on to the books that I hope to get to for the rest of the week. I did have Salem's Lot picked out for Tome Topple. I did not get to it. I am going to get to it in May. It is definitely on the top of my to get to list, but I have a bunch of library books out and I need to get to a couple of those before I can get to a book that I actually own. So the two that are due most recently are Orphans of the Carnival by Carol Birch, which is an adult fiction, and Columbine, which is a nonfiction. This is by Dave Cullen. So I need to get to both of those because they have to go back to the library, I think, by the beginning of next week. So I'm going to try really hard to read them. I may be able to renew one of these one more time. However, the other one I think has a request, so it has to go back. So I'm hoping to get to those. I also have a ton of books, like I said, out from the library. I have a couple I have to go pick up today because I can't seem to stop requesting books from the library. So I'm probably going to film a little bit of a book haul later in the week because I have those library books, and then I received a stack of books from my husband's coworker who is done with her books. So I have quite a few to actually show you. I have not filmed an actual book haul all year, so I am kind of excited to do that. But like I said, that won't be happening until a little bit later in the week when I have all the books here together to show you. Anyway, what did you guys read in the last couple weeks? Did you read anything that you absolutely loved and enjoyed? Please let me know down in those comments below. I'm always looking to see what you guys are reading because I love recommendations, even though it keeps me going to that library. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, I hope that you guys have a great week and happy reading.